So I have this offer from Palagina over here to go with her to the embassy of the Valiants, and I'm
I'll
planning
leave
to
you
do
be
that.
if I'm going to get Ambassador Agosti to listen to me for a change. Let me know when you're ready for me to join you.
Yeah, I'm ready, let's go. And that's actually recruiting her. So interesting. Let's... Who to dismiss? I'm not sure, let's dismiss Sagani for now and put in Palagina, who is a level 5 paladin. Interesting. And I recruited her. And I gain a new quest from it, the Child of Five Sons. Speak to Agosti at the Valiant Embassy. Palagina feels she has been wasting her time on trivial tasks in Defiance Bay. She believes there are more serious threats to the Valiant Republics and wants your help in pursuing them. Yeah, let's go to the first fires and go to the Valiant Embassy. And I thought I was getting spawned to the embassy, but I guess we just recruited her. Interesting. So now we got Palagina in our team. And now let's go to the first fires. So that's the 6th official party member I recruited. First fires it is. And she wants me to go here to the Valiant Embassy. And that's over here. But first, what could be interesting is to talk a bit to Pallegina. See what she's on about.
Need something?
Pallegina's eyes glimmer with a divine spark as she coolly appraises you. Need something? Yeah, where in the Valiant Republics are you from? I was born in a fishing village near Biajepi. Her brow furrows, her golden eyes looking away as she searches for a lost memory. Can't remember the name. She waved her feathered hand dismissively. I was only there for a few years. My best memory was leaving the place. Like all the other brothers, I grew up under the Ozian bastions. It wasn't easy, but I prefer it to gutting fish. Is she? Yeah, you're one of the godlike, aren't you? She lets out a small laugh. That's what they call me. Yes, I've never met a god, so I don't know what they're like. I can't say why everyone else presumes to understand why I was born this way. How do people in the Valiant Republics feel about the godlike? Like with anyone who's different, most people are curious or afraid, and if they're afraid, she shrugs, they get angry. They want to make sense of the world, and people like me can be confusing. And believe me, people are easily confused. Her tone becomes more serious as her voice and gaze drift off. After a long moment, she looks back to you. We all have to protect ourselves, no matter where we are. Being different means always looking over your shoulder, no matter what company you keep. Now, I was wondering about your order, the Brotherhood of the Five Sons. Palagina nods softly. Back in the Republics, we call it the Fremas Mes Chanxuolias. What? The Five Sons are the Duke's bells, the great dukes who rule over the most powerful republics, Spirento, Ancense, Celona, Ozia, and Revua. I pronounce that with an Italian sound because it's clearly Italian. The Duke's bells keep the republics moving forward, keep us at the forefront of trade and technology, keep us strong against our rivals. We brothers are sworn to aid and protect them for the good of the republics and their citizens. What's so great about the Valian republics? Long ago, the Grand Empire of Valia thrived. As the empire collapsed into the warring states of Old Valia, much of that old culture was lost. The Old Valians see grandeur in the acts of the forebears and believe it elevates them. They are a tired people from a fading time. There was once beauty in the great cities of the empire, but there are few alive today who ever saw it. The Valian republics are a rebirth of Grand Valian culture, but we are more than just that. While old Valia was content to look over backward, the republics will shape the future. Yeah, I wanted to ask you something else about the Brotherhood. Pallegina nods sharply. When did you become a brother? I joined the order when I was very young, only 6. I did not pass my final examinations until I was 20. It's not something I ever expected to happen. Pirates attacked the town where my family lived. It was not uncommon when I was young. They were more of a nuisance than a real threat, but they were persistent enough that the Duke of Otsia saw fit to send the Freremas to deal with the threat. I was enamored with the idea of being one of them. I don't even know what it meant to serve a country then. I didn't really even know what republics were. I was just a little girl, but maybe I wanted to be them because I saw how people celebrated them. I saw how people thanked them for what they did. Most of all, I saw how they left this place that felt like a prison to me. So how did you wind up joining? My father resented me and my presence. When he learned that the Brotherhood accepted my kind because we are not considered women, he asked if I could be traded in exchange for taxes he owed on his land. The recruiter believed that having a godlike among the ranks would be prestigious, so he accepted in spite of my physical limitations. Well, why did your father resent you? Because I was born different, but more than that, because the birth hurt my mother. I left her unable to bear more children. She weakly shrugs her shoulders. It's why my father traded me to the Brotherhood. My mother, she was a different sort, kinder, more forgiving. She did not blame me for being what I was, but when my father looked at me, he saw his family line ended. He hated me for it. Well, that's strange. Our lives are strange. There are other ways my father could have dealt with me. He could have killed me at birth. No one in that village would have thought less of him. She shrugs, the membranes of her eyes sliding out and back from beneath her eyelids. Being sold to the Brotherhood turned out to be the better alternative. Alright, let's talk about something else, I guess. Why are you concerned about animacy in Defiance Bay? People look at the republics as a nation of traders. We do engage in much commercial trade through Defiance Bay, but the greatest value we have found is not written on a ledger line. It's intellectual wealth, the ideas that we exchange. The Deerwood and the Valian republics are the world's leaders in animacy. If the Deerwood institutes prohibitions against research and practice of animacy, it will have serious repercussions for the Valian republics. Don't you think there are dangers in animacy? Of course it's dangerous, but we who live in the Eastern Reach, we are the children of pioneers. We sought out the dangers. She nods her head decisively. This is why all of the best research must happen in the New World. Do you see animacy as just something to be traded? She snorts dismissively. I'm not a scientist, but I believe animacy can benefit us all. There are so many questions to be unanswered about who we are, why I am the way I am. If we can answer them, maybe we can make life better for everyone. I'd like to know your opinion on something. On what? She nods her feathered head sharply. Ask and you will know. What do you know of Rawatai? They've done impressive things with cannon and artillery, and some of their ship designs are interesting, but they shout too loudly over minor accomplishments. She smiles softly. No one seriously questions that the republics control all sea lanes in the Eastern Reach. Do the republics view the Aedir Empire as a threat? We used to view the Empire as a threat. Since revolution in Deerwood, the republics have benefited from the shield that the Deerwood provides. It's another reason why I fear the fall of the Defiance Bay. If the Deerwood is weak, Aedir will surely test the republic's dominance in the Eastern Reach. Well, you've spent a lot of time in the Deerwood. What do you make of it? It's not the republics, but the Deerwood is one of our closest allies. We trade more with the Deerwood than any other nation, and we have no greater ally in supporting animancy research. Palagina shakes her head slightly. Still, I do not understand the Deerwooden obsession with revenge and feuds, nor the widespread hatred of Orlans. The Orlans from Air Glanthet fight for their homes and their culture, as anyone would. They fight dirty, but I would too if all my enemies were twice my size. How do you think things are going? I'm glad you know how much can be gained from diplomacy. In the Brotherhood, we are trained to keep our physical strength in reserve and use wits and words to navigate our way through most conflicts. Exactly how I like it. She raises a feathered finger to emphasize her point. There will always be a time for a war, and I'm glad to see you have the restraint not to succumb to the desire every time the opportunity arises. I got something else. I think she got something more about the Brotherhood. Yeah, you say brothers, but my breastplate bulges in the wrong spot? She cracks a small grin. I may look like a woman and sound like a woman, but according to the Republic's laws, I'm not. What they call godlike people like me, we can never bear children, so we can't be real women for what that's worth. Most women in the Republics, if they can't bear children, it's like the sun has set on their lives. But what it was worth to me, freedom. The Brotherhood has a prohibition against women entering, but I was allowed. Many resented the decision, but I learned long ago not to care. So the godlike women can't have children. Interesting. So how does one become godlike? One more question. How does it work with 5 dukes? They can't agree all the time. Oops. Did I click? Yeah, she throws her head back and laughs. Ha ha ha, of course not. They argue endlessly in the Sangreda Ducala. The Brotherhood is forbidden to take sides in their debates. Not that I'd want to. I'd rather risk life and limb fighting the Republic's enemies than listen to the droning lectures of the Ducal Congress. Our loyalty is not to individual dukes, but to the dukes as a whole, to their collective will and resolutions. We follow the mandates of the Ducal Congress. The individual dukes direct us, but they have an understanding of how we are not to be used. So I guess we talked to her much. So we got good armor and weapons later. Now for now let's head into the alien, not the alien, the Valian embassy with the quest the child of 5 sons. Here we are, and where is that Agosti character? There he is, Vincent Agosti.
Ambassador Agosti, I would speak with you on a matter of some urgency and great importance.
Sighing as though remembering some heavy burden, Vincent crosses his arms before replying. Palagina, if this is the same matter we previously discussed, I doubt I will be convinced any more easily. Yeah, quit stonewalling and pay attention for once. Ambassador Agosti's head snaps in your direction, and he gives you a long, disapproving look. I don't care.
Ambassador, there are issues at stake here that go beyond rogue merchants and a port staying open. Animancy is under attack in Defiance Bay.
Pallegina shakes her feathered fists to emphasize her point. And she did that to me as well. We have to protect our interests here, but it also means knowing when to avoid unnecessary entanglements. The Animancers and the locals have problems, they'll work them out. Or they won't. Either way, there's too much to risk by getting involved.
If it is outlawed here, what would prevent the same from happening in our republics?
The ambassador's face vacillates between expressions of sympathy and frustration. Pallegina, I do not think your concerns are unfounded, but it's not the place of this embassy to countermand the Republic's policies. Yeah, if it makes any difference, Ambassador, I'm already looking into the matters Pallegina has spoken of. It doesn't, but it would be fortuitous if your investigation took you to Twin Elms, because that's where Pallegina needs to go.
What is it the Dukes need of me, Ambassador?
The Deerwood's instability has created an opportunity for us to take cover their trade with Air Glenfeth. Take over. We will need to meet with the Glenfethans soon to secure upcoming trade arrangements. The road to Twin Elms can be dangerous, of course, but that's why you'll be our representative there.
Echosi, Ambassador. But won't this provoke the Deerwoodins? Their country is falling apart, and we are already dividing up their trade alliances.
Provoke them into what? Going to war? Through no fault of the Republic's, the Deerwood's armies have been deprived of an entire generation of soldiers. It would be foolish not to take advantage of the situation. If we don't, the Red Serans will. I don't really. I say nothing because I don't really know the gravity of things here, so it could be wise to keep silent.
Really? After that, you have nothing
Oh,
to say.
really now? And dispassionately stare off in the distance. Sorry. Pallegina raises an eyebrow and clenches her jaw but remains silent. Pallegina, Pallegina, he shakes his head. Go to Twin Elms, speak to the Anamenfeth, what? Impress upon her the instability of the Deerwood and reassure her of the Valian Republic's desire to open safe trade.
Of course, Ambassador.
Well, she doesn't like it, but I think the Agosti character knows more about it, so... The ambassador nods and smiles paternally. He then looks to you. I know you plan on investigating this crisis together, but I hope you understand Palagina's responsibilities. I can lie. Yeah, we'll help her. Well, I understand, but we're still going to investigate it, responsibilities or not. Vicente, that's a typo, bristles and turns to Palagina. Will the Dukes need to hear more about Palagina's Mesrai's wild adventures?
Of course not, Ambassador. I will attend to the Anamenfeth as soon as I am able to travel to Twin Elms.
Good. Now, if you will excuse me. Where does he go?
Could have gone better. Could have gone worse.
Well, I'll sign for that.
I appreciate that you stood up for me, but it's hard to persuade the Ambassador to go against the Duke's orders.
Oh, okay, the Duke has other orders. Yeah, I'll side with Palagina on this one. I know you're right, Palagina. We may find a way for you to fulfill your obligations while looking into what's really going on around here. Don't worry.
Enough wisdom for both of us. Now, I just need to find out how to get to Twin Elms before the Ambassador loses his patience.
We'll get to that later, all in good time. She pauses in thought. Still, I fear that making this deal with the Glenfeddens will further weaken the Deerwood and make trouble for the Republics in the years to come. What I said, the first options. Well, it's a long way to Twin Elms. You'll have plenty of time to think it over.
Verus.
Verus? Alright. So, yeah, help Palagina broker a trade agreements with the Amenfeth and Twin Elms. Take a quick look at the map. The Twin Elms are way over here. Wow. And I guess that's a companion quest? No, it's just a regular quest. Or is it? Oh, it might be a companion quest. I guess it is. So we'll get to that later on in the game. Do you have any more to say on this matter?
Gods keep you.
Amico, so good to see you again. What can I do for you? Yeah, Palagina said you could use my help with something. Now I'm here. Ah, yes, very true. His jovial countenance hardens. I have heard word of Mestre Verzano's death. While it is regrettable, even he had to know this fate was a possibility given the sort of people he was crossing. But on to business. A rather notorious adventuring party calling themselves the Forgotten have made a name for themselves by raiding Engwithan ruins in the Deerwood and selling the stolen relics to their patrons back in the Valian Republics. I need them stopped. I'm sure you're aware that trade in Engwithan relics is strictly forbidden in the Deerwood. Were it known that prominent nobles in the republics were flagrantly defying the Duke's ban on the looting of Engwithan ruins, it would put a number of valuable trade agreements in jeopardy or even cause Defiance Base to embargo Valian goods. I can't let that happen. Well, that's a mouthful. So, who are the Forgotten? These authorities in Defiance Bay have no idea this smuggling is going on. I'm sure rumors have reached their ears, but if they suspected that there was any truth to them, they'd have summoned me before them. That hasn't happened yet. Why not just have the Forgotten killed? I don't know. He shakes his head. I hear the town criers now. Valian ambassador hires assassins. No, that option is too risky for me. Well, I'll help. What do you need me to do? He smiles in relief. Thank you. A prominent merchant in the Republic's Mestre Barcozzi has also developed an interest in obtaining Engwithan relics and sent a buyer to Defiance Bay to meet with the Forgotten. I arranged for the Knights of the Crucible to detain the buyer for questioning. I may have suggested that the buyer was a wanted criminal. I'll need you to go in the buyer's place, posing as Barcozzi's representative, and learn how the Forgotten are smuggling the relics through Defiance Bay. With that knowledge, I can take steps to discreetly dismantle their operation and discredit them in the eyes of their patrons. Interesting. If there's nothing else, I must return to my duties. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you. So there's a new task, the Forgotten, and needs me to go to Adelwyn Bridge. Yeah. So I got new quests, I got a new companion. So yeah, we're making more progress. Of course, we also always do that, but you know, it's going well.